desperate battle south of Adelaide as firefighters defend the Kuitpo Pine Forest. Petrol tipped to rise more than 6 cents a litre in the next 3 weeks. And local hero Stuart O'Grady grabs the lead in the Tour Down Under. Good evening. Also tonight, Leighton Hewitt against Tommy Haas at the Australian Open. We'll bring you the highlights in sport.
But first, the fire threatening Kuitpo Forest. Spot fires broke out on the fringes of the pine forest this afternoon. Scores of volunteer firefighters moved in, backed by water-bombing aircraft. The outbreaks followed yesterday's fire at Rapid Bay. Now, that one is contained, but the CFS fears that strengthening winds could restart it.
Fire crews rushed to Kuitpo Forest, their desperate efforts hindered by the strong winds that continued to sweep the blaze across heavily wooded terrain. A huge pall of smoke stretched across the horizon for several kilometres, terrifying nearby residents who feared the fire was heading their way. 150 firefighters battled the blaze. 3 water bomber aircraft were also called in. It was contained a short time ago, but the Country Fire Service fears any sudden wind change could cause another flare-up. It's another sign the fire season is on in earnest. A blaze at Rapid Bay late yesterday destroyed 600 hectares of grasslands. Just when CFS crews thought they'd controlled it, there was a gusty wind change. The local electricity substation was the most spectacular casualty. That cut power to local homes and businesses.
Hit our main power transformer in the quarry, which has now put us right out. And it's a major power transformer.
For the town.
Which will take probably days to restore.
The greatest fear was whether the blaze would take hold inside township limits. That sparked the decision to fly in 3 firebombers. But that was easier said than done.
It's very hard yesterday with the wind speed. The smoke stayed very low to the ground. It didn't rise rapidly to give us an overall clear view. So we had to, at certain stages, go very low.
The fire is still not out. It's expected to burn sporadically for several days, and firefighters say strong winds could ignite the drama all over again. Jessica Rich, National 9 News.
And the fire saw Kangaroo Island plunged into darkness overnight. Vital power lines supplying the island's electricity were destroyed in the blaze. Today, islanders wanted to know what had happened to their backup generators.
It was like a step back in time for tourists landing on Kangaroo Island in this post-war DC-3, greeted by a vintage bus and a town without power. A bushfire near Rapid Bay damaged vital power lines to the island just after 5 last night. And despite reassurances that power would be restored within 2 hours, many were still left waiting by lunchtime today.
All the businesses here in Kingscote rely on our tourist trade here. We just had to shut up and go home. We couldn't do a thing.
Power to Kingscote was restored just before midnight, but residents in smaller towns like Penneshaw were forced to throw away food and close their businesses as the waiting continued. And adding fuel to the fire, locals want to know why the island's emergency generators weren't used during the blackout. When that question was put to power giant AGL, a spokeswoman said these generators were used, but speak to locals and they say that's not the case.
I think it's a question that the council will probably be asking of ETSA. It certainly in the past has supplied emergency power to the township.
Pub owner Chris Schumann battled on, serving nearly 300 meals by candlelight.
We asked if they were going to put the generator on, and they said, well, by the time we got down to put the generator on and got it fired up, the power would be back on anyhow.
Late today, some areas of the island were still suffering blackouts. Adam Thompson, National 9 News.
A decision by OPEC to cut oil production is expected to force petrol prices in Australia up by more than 6 cents a litre. And the federal government will put its hand out as well with a planned fuel tax that will add another 2 cents.
For motorists, it had been a much appreciated Christmas gift. In November and December, pump prices nosedived to around 80 cents a litre. The holiday bonus is to be short-lived. A meeting of OPEC leaders overnight decided to cut oil production. The Motor Traders Association says the impact will be almost immediate.
We could see an increase in the world price of oil, which could lead to 3 and maybe 4 cents a litre additional costs at the pump within 7 days.
And motorists are also reminded about the federal government's fuel tax increase. That comes into plan next month. The fuel tax indexed increase is expected to add another 2 cents a litre to the price, which could mean an overall increase of nearly 10 cents by the end of February. Further cuts in oil output are expected. OPEC members have indicated they could come as early as March. Xavier Minicon, National 9 News.
There's been a bitter reaction to the news that Telstra is overhauling its charges. Included is an increase in the rental on phone lines. The big winners are internet users, but that's angered pensioners who claim they're being further disadvantaged.
The consumer reaction to the new charges was swift and angry. The particular sore point, the increase in monthly line rental rates.
Most customers are going to be worse off because of this.
Depending on the plan used by customers, their rental fee will rise by up to $2.26. Telstra, though, maintains it's merely recouping money spent on the lines. The federal government today backing the carrier.
It's part of the rebalancing, and it's got to be offset by reductions which have already occurred in part and which will hopefully continue.
Among those reductions, lowering the cost of calls made within a customer's neighbourhood.
Even with these changes, customers on average are better off with us now than they were 2 years ago.
One certain winner, Telstra's online customers. They'll pay a reduced line rental rate of several dollars. But if they still want to be sent a bill, they'll have to pay $3.30 for the privilege.
But Telstra isn't the only company offering cheaper deals for online customers. Banks, for example, give financial savings to internet users. And it's this growing trend that has consumer groups worried.
The internet savvy are a new class of winners, if you like, in this game.
And that means those who can't access the net, can't afford it, or simply don't understand it, sometimes end up paying more.
Just that the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Nina Stevens, National 9 News.
A member of the Gypsy Jokers motorcycle gang has appeared in court over the confrontation with police earlier this month that left 3 officers in hospital. 34-year-old Stephen Charles Williams is charged with assaulting police at Beachport near Mount Gambier on the 2nd of January. 3 members of the Police Star Division were hurt after approaching members of the gang at a local hotel. The incident prompted police to launch a massive crackdown on the gang. Williams is also charged with escaping custody. He's indicated that he'll plead not guilty to all charges. He's due to reappear in court on March the 2nd.
Britain's Kilshaw family is digging in for a battle over those twin 6-month-old girls who were stolen from their original adoptive parents in the United States. Not only are the Kilshaws facing a legal challenge from the American couple, they're also under fire at home. The government has condemned their use of unscrupulous internet baby traders.
In Britain, Alan and Judith Kilshaw have the twin girls and say they won't be giving them up.
We have sympathy, but it wasn't our fault the birth mother had changed her mind.
These appearances on American television shows are now the only opportunity for the heartbroken Allen family in California to see the children they adopted, only to have them stolen away 2 months later by the twins' natural mother and sold to the Kilshaws.
They were American-born, they belong in our family, and they should be returned.
The British couple shouldn't expect any support from their Prime Minister, who is embarrassed the twins are now in his country.
I think that everyone feels that it is absolutely deplorable that children are traded in this way, and adoption should always be about the interests of the child first.
The only way the American family can retrieve the girls is to win a case in a British court. But the Kilshaws say they haven't broken the law, which is true, and they won't be handing the children back.
If you had told the police that you had given them money, they would not have allowed this to go down.
The British couple have been criticised in the papers too for taking the 6-month-old twins into their farmhouse, which was reported to be dirty and unkempt. Mrs. Kilshaw made this cynical reply to her growing number of critics.
Get a duster and get a good hoover and go through the house. Last comment, not doing any more fun.
Robert Penfold, National 9 News.
If the British newspapers are to believe, the farmhouse is overrun with cats and dogs.
Shocking story,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Story. After the break, our doctors are working towards a major medical breakthrough. They're aiming at being able to repair a severed spinal cord.
And a dramatic moment for politicians in California as a truck driver went berserk, ramming the Capitol building.
Neil Ottison First National will auction this very neat 2-bedroom cottage at Eliza Street South End, Saturday 20th of January at 10 a.m. Set on a corner block close to the beach with double car shed. A perfect beach home at an affordable price. Contact Neil Ottison First National.
Barry Mack,
your locally owned retrovision store.
Miele washing machines are specifically designed to produce superior wash results with a minimum amount of water detergent and electricity. And if you're looking for a dishwasher equipped with a completely redesigned heating system, a solid cabinet door front, built-in water softener and whisper-quiet operation, choose Miele, because anything else is a compromise.
Barry Mac Retrovision, where top brands cost less.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nissan 2000 clearance. We're here to sell this Nissan ST Patrol wagon. With a powerful 4.2-litre turbo diesel engine, this Patrol is going whatever your location. Now, am I going to hear air conditioning? Yes? 7 seats. 7 seats. Do I hear a CD player? I do. And here's a special offer going for a limited time with bull bar, driving lights and tow bar worth over $2,000. It's going at $52,990. It's going. All quiet? It's going, gone in the Nissan 2000 clearance.
Creamy.
Ham and salad sandwiches.
How does she do it?
P-R-A-I-S-E. Every meal deserves praise. Swimming is so cool at a swim Australia school. It's a master stroke to swim, cause you're learning what you order. It's our Aussie way of life. We love our fun and sun and water. You can paddle, you can float, you can kick and you can dive. It's fun when you're safe. Swimming makes you feel alive. Make a splash, take the plunge, dive right in and learn to swim. Cause swimming is so cool at a swim Australia school.
8:30 Friday. 3 women on the road. It isn't pretty, it's beautiful.
You missed it? What?
Boys on the side. 8:30 Friday on Win SA.
The news tonight presented by Neil Ottison First National Real Estate, Narracourt, Penola, Robe, Edenhope and Millicent.
This is National 9 News. Parts of northern New South Wales have been declared natural disaster areas after wild storms lashed the coast from Brisbane to Wollongong overnight. The Gold Coast was battered by hailstones for about half an hour, and the storm caused havoc through Brisbane's Bayside, where a 22-year-old man was killed after touching fallen power lines. The New South Wales town of Casino, though, bore the brunt of the fury, with 100-kilometre-an-hour winds ripping off roofs and cutting telephone services. More than 20 people were injured, with damage estimated in the millions of dollars.
The change of power in Washington could bring changes for Australia's regional security. America's incoming Secretary of State Colin Powell has praised Australia's defence role, and that's been seen as a hint that we'll be expected to take on extra responsibility as a regional policeman.
Our relationship with Indonesia has been turbulent over the past 25 years, but our role in last year's UN peacekeeping force in East Timor has not gone unnoticed in Washington. The US now looking to Australia to continue a vital role in the region.
We will coordinate our policies, but let our ally Australia take the lead, as they have done so well in that troubled country.
I think we'll have a very good and a very close working relationship with the new United States administration.
The former four-star general, who's set to become America's first black Secretary of State, says the United States is pleased Australia has played a keen interest in what's been happening to our north.
Our relations with this hugely important country need careful attention.
But analysts are reading the comments with caution, pointing out there's still work to be done to restore stability and trust to our bilateral ties.
It's also a wake-up call to us, I think, to pay a little more attention to this crucial relationship.
The government has been quick to point out there may still be differences of opinion on Indonesia, but the significance of the comments by such a senior member of the Bush administration has not been ignored.
It shows we're very much on the radar screen of the incoming US administration.
Nigel Blunden, National 9 News.
There's been a bizarre and spectacular attack on California's state capitol building. A man with a grudge against the state governor rammed his truck at high speed right into the front of the building. Members of the assembly were meeting inside. No one was hurt. The driver, though, was killed when his truck exploded in a fireball that was carrying a load of powdered milk. Witnesses say he'd circled the block several times to pick up speed before making his suicide charge. Police say the man had a long criminal record and that he'd been sending threatening letters to the governor.
For years, medical science has been trying to find a way to repair severed spinal cords. Well, that search may be over. American scientists believe they've worked out a way to get nerve cells to regrow, and they're developing a drug to help them do it.
16-year-old Gemma Quinn is one of thousands worldwide with a spinal cord injury who welcome news of medical progress.
Every day that I wake up, I think, yeah, there's going to be a cure, and that helps.
Now work on mice at Yale University in America points to a key to unlocking the nerve blockage. After an accident, the damaged nerve fibres or axons don't regenerate in the spinal cord. Messages from the brain can't get through to other parts of the body. This is because the insulation around the axon produces a chemical called no-go, which appears to stop that process. But the American scientists say they've isolated that chemical and could stop it working, allowing the nerves to redevelop and reconnect the damaged spine. Then information signals from the brain could theoretically move freely to paralyse parts of the body. Doctors hope this research, reported in this week's Nature journal, is the next step in developing a drug to regenerate damaged nerves.
It's quite clear we are going to produce some treatment that will be beneficial to people with spinal cord injury before too long, but we're certainly not going to have a complete cure.
It's a small but major step. Developing a medication that is slightly effective could eventually lead to drugs that are even more beneficial for spinal injury. Cheryl Taylor, National 9 News.
The old Cliff Richard ditty tells us to beware the devil woman. Well, it seems cycling's tour down under has its very own pitchfork-wielding lady who's giving riders and spectators one hell of a fright.
Just as their legs turn to jelly, as sucking in air becomes a struggle, the Tour Down Under tackles Heartbreak Hill. Today, it's Selix, and after one hell of a climb, a vision. Yes, you saw correctly. Meet the Tour Down Under's own devil woman. When she's not wielding a pitchfork, she's a school teacher.
The cyclists, as they come by, they're so surprised, and I've even had cyclists swerving towards me.
This she-devil has lined each Tour Down Under route and even seen a Tour de France.
We've now got an international event and we need an international icon, and so I thought I'd bring the devil to Australia.
Her own following includes those even more famous, like Olympic gold medalist Kathy Watt. She's not the only one caught up in this two-wheeled whirlwind.
Bought the bike today, so I'll go out today and have a bit of a ride somewhere.
So I'm from Melbourne, and first time I've come over for the tour. It's as good as anything overseas.
It seems the whole state are now cycling converts. Here at Victor Harbour, they've been queuing for hours and anticipating for a year. In the blink of an eye, it's over. The bandwagon rolls on to the next point, all except for Vin Pistola and Ursula Parfillo, who are still having one devil of a time at Selix Hill.
Unfortunately, waiting for the RAA because we locked our keys in our car.
But their enthusiasm for the tour hasn't waned, although next year you can bet it's by pedal power. Vicky Schwartz, National 9 News.
I'm sure they've got the car going. Another big effort from the local hero, Kim.
Yes, he pleased the crowds once again, Rob. No doubt about that. Hello, everyone. After the break, the man we're talking about, Stuart O'Grady, takes the yellow jersey in the Tour Down Under. Leighton Hewitt powers through to the third round of the Australian Open. And Brian Lara back to his brilliant best at the SCG.
It's stock take sale at Radio Rentals. This package is normally great value at $5.98. At $4.99, you'll save $99. Personal shopping only for this sensational special. Radio Rentals, they know stock take.
The Red Spot sale is Woolworths' biggest grocery sale, with hundreds of huge savings, like a 24-pack of Coke varieties, $15.99, save $2.27. 2-litre refrigerated daily juice range, $2.98 each, save 65 cents. And 150-gram Nescafe Blend 43, $4.99, save $1. Stock up and save on Red Spot specials and look for more low prices in Woolworths' Red Spot sale catalogue. Out now.
Got One surf fishing sale with Jarvis Walker 13-foot surf rod combo plus bonus line low $159.95. Check out the great prices on these 12-foot surf rod combos and 15% off Jarvis Walker sunglasses. Get it at Got One, Commercial Street East, Mount Gambier.
See this man at this location.
for all your radiator repairs, including recourse for trucks and cars. They'll even recondition your tractor and irrigation radiator, supplying and fitting polished aluminium Gitchin bull bars and roo bars for cars, trucks and four-wheel drives, as well as aluminium trays and Allen tow bars for most makes and models. For the quickest service in town, see the independent radiator experts in the southeast, Gambia Radiator Service. They'll have you back on the road in no time.
It's stock take sale at Radio Rentals. This fridge is normally great value at $5.69. At a fantastic $4.99, you'll save $70. Personal shopping only for this sensational special. Radio Rentals, they know stock take.
On a current affair, Peter Brock's road toll remedy.
I'd go with education rather than legislation.
Scrap shock ads and tell drivers what they need to know.
Just teach them some of the basics. Driving can be fun, and it is fun if you get it right.
Tonight's Sports Spot, proudly brought to you by Gateway Mitre 10 Home and Trade. It's not just their low prices, it's the right advice that really saves you money.
Yeah, it's not bad.
To tennis first, and Leighton Hewitt has produced another courageous performance at the Australian Open, this time against Germany's Tommy Haas. Australian teenager Evie Dominikovic advanced while our top-ranked female Nicole Pratt went down to Amelie Mauresmo. But it was Hewitt once again who provided the heroics.
Their caps are going backwards, as was Hewitt's tennis, winning just 1 point in the first 3 games against a fired-up Haas. The Australian was as flat as the surface he was playing on, yet there was no panic as he came back from 5-love down.
And capitulation by Haas.
But Hewitt remained way below his best, and Haas got away to another flyer in the second, leading 3-love. Despite his indifferent form and being subdued, Hewitt hung in to force a tiebreak against the fragile German. The pump had cut in, and Hewitt lined up for the second of 2 set points. The Aussie was bubbling, Haas was anything but.
That's magnificent.
Earlier, Evie Dominikovic became the last Australian woman remaining at the Open, making it through to the 3rd round by defeating American Holly Parkinson in 3. Venus Williams' well-publicised outfit was marginally more manageable than in the first round. But she struggled with her tennis before defeating fellow American Megan Shaughnessy in straight sets. Ken Sutcliffe, National 9 News.
Well, despite Brian Lara finding some one-day form, Australia's cricketers are confident they can finish the summer undefeated. Chasing Australia's 277 at the SCG last night, Lara's brilliant unbeaten 116 helped the Windies make a match of it before rain stopped play, Australia winning on adjusted scores by 28 runs.
A day off for both teams, the West Indies bunkered down in their Sydney hotel. The Australians arriving in Melbourne ahead of Sunday's game against Zimbabwe, but still talking about last night and that knock by Brian Lara.
Yeah, exciting. Probably great for the spectators to see Lara, playing his flamboyant mood. It was pretty hard to stop.
Shane Warne won the war against the rest of the Windies batting lineup, taking 3 wickets, and although the leg spinner copped some stick from the left-hander, Warne was happy to resume their long-running battle for the first time this summer after his return from injury.
It was good fun bowling to Brian in that sort of form. If you bowl anything loose, you're going to whack it for 4 or 6.
When Lara was on 13, the video umpire adjudicated on this dive by Mark Waugh. With replays inconclusive and the fielder uncertain, the West Indian was given the green light to smash 10 fours and 2 sixes in his 14th one-day 100. Despite Lara's efforts, rain wrecked the Windies' remote chance of victory. Australia declared 28-run winners under the complex Duckworth-Lewis system. This team now within sight of becoming the first to finish the Test and one-day season undefeated.
We're confident. We've got a good momentum up at the moment.
Andrew McKinlay, National 9 News.
South Australian Stuart O'Grady tonight holds the yellow jersey as the leader of the Tour Down Under. O'Grady finished third in today's stage from McLaren Vale to Victor Harbour, the result enough to lift him to first overall. The stage was won by Italian Alessio Galletti.
On the hottest day, the longest stage of the 2001 Tour Down Under, a 165-kilometre trek from McLaren Vale to Victor Harbour. Unfazed by the long road ahead, local rider Steve Cunningham and Italian Alessio Galletti, the pair making their move 9 kilometres in. A strong headwind made the going tough for the demanding ascent over Selleck's Hill. Victorian Robert Tigello retaining his King of the Mountain jersey as best of the climbers. Some were destined never to be competitive, as Galletti and Cunningham continued to set the pace, the Italian winning the first sprint of the day through Maiponga. By the halfway mark, the pair had established an imposing 16-minute gap over O'Grady and the pack. 70 kilometres from home, a brave Galletti attacked, leaving Cunningham in his wake and at the mercy of the peloton. In the process, the Italian took the second of the stage's sprints at Goolwa, his gamble proving anything but, as he held on to claim the stage win, Team Seiko's second in as many days. O'Grady did enough in the dash for minor placings, the local hero's third place rewarded with the coveted yellow jersey, and with 2 stages to go, tour favouritism. Ross Stargett, National 9 News.
They certainly are fit, and Rob, I could just see Kevin going up Selleck's Hill on his old penny farthing.
Oh, give us a break. It wasn't a penny farthing, it was a scooter. Thank you very much, Kevin. Keith next with the weather. While it was a nice day for a relaxing swim, it was a bit tougher if you were trying to keep to a tight schedule.
Drop into Gateway Martin and check out the new and exciting outdoor living and leisure centre with everything to make your leisure times more relaxing and enjoyable. Outdoor settings in timber, metal, glass, cane and settings for children. Fountains for the office, home and garden. Chairs in all shapes and colours to suit adults and children. There's an extensive range of kettle portable and 3 or 4 burner barbecues with or without hoods. Plus gazebos, sun lounges, beach shades, picnic sets and coolers. Don't delay. See Gateway's new outdoor living and leisure centre.
It's Braithwaite's Country Classics massive clearance. 4 days only. Lounge suites, recliners and sofas, out they go. Beds and bedroom furniture, out they go. Dining suites and all timber furniture, out they go. Rental and interest-free terms available. 4 days only at Braithwaite's Country Classics.
The Philo 99-cent sale is on now.
250-gram Arnott's plain biscuits.
99 cents.
24-pack Coca-Cola cans.
$13.99.
Philo.
Extra value for you.
40,000 bathrooms, 25,000 family rooms, 80,000 patios, 400,000 loos. Yes, 800,000 square metres of tiles must go in Beaumont's biggest ever tile sale. These imported floor tiles are only $14.95 a metre. Wall tiles from just $11.95. These Tuscan floor tiles, $18.95. Plus heritage wall tiles and pattern freezers, only 34 cents each. Every single tile must go. Not just a few to soak you in, but every single tile. Don't miss it. Beaumont Tiles' biggest ever tile sale. Beaumont Tiles.
When a fire goes wild, large forest fires in the southeast, it can destroy the property you love. When a fire goes wild,
Large stock losses are expected as huge grass fires.
it can destroy the animals you love. When a fire goes wild,
Bushfire is raging through the Adelaide Hills.
it can destroy the home, the people, the life you love. When a fire goes wild, prepare yourself for the worst.
Thursday on Win, the setups are outrageous. Darren Hinch sees red with our traffic light scam.
Sir, would you mind stepping out of the car?
Plus jockey Jim Cassidy, Wendy Mooney and the girls from High Five.
Hiya.
Surprise, surprise, 7:30 Thursday on Win.
Good evening to you. Well, it certainly turned out to be quite a warm one, and tonight we start with a picture of sunset at Kadina taken by Brian Schultz. And on the subject of heat, you might like to know that once again Lake Eyre is almost dry. 6 months, of course, ago, Lake Eyre was an inland sea, but now suddenly all of that water has just about disappeared. Now, temperature-wise today, Mount Gambier made 24 degrees. Renmark had a top of 31, with Adelaide today having a top of 32.1 degrees at 4:05. The overnight low, a very comfortable 15 degrees, coming at 6:20 this morning. At the moment here, 29.2 degrees, with our barometer quite steady at 1,014.5. Now, looking at the satellite pictures tonight, as you can see, not a lot of cloud in South Australia, And so tomorrow, with mainly clear skies and a nor'easter, it will be hot to very hot, warm around the coast, but elsewhere generally dry and temperatures well above average. As for Saturday, there's a weak change on the way. It'll get in here late morning. That'll produce some cooling during Saturday, and by Sunday, much more comfortable conditions over the settled areas of the state. But then on Monday, that cloud will clear out from that change, and temperatures once again will start to rise. Looking at the service chart tonight, you'll see as the high goes by, winds tomorrow will be mainly light to moderate east to northeasterly, dragging this hot air in from the Marie region, so temperatures tomorrow will rise. But there's a change in here, you can see moving up through that trough line there. That'll come in here, waft in early on Saturday. It'll take a while to cool down on Saturday afternoon, but winds will pick up on Saturday afternoon, and Sunday should be much more pleasant. Now, if you're going to stay tomorrow, storms are likely in Cairns, showers in Townsville. 1 or 2 showers are likely in Sydney and in Brisbane, with storms also likely in Darwin and in Broome. Now, at home today, 19 degrees only at Hindmarsh Island, went to 46 degrees up at Oodnadatta, and for the second consecutive day, 47 degrees at Birdsville. Not quite as hot as Marie today, only 42, but Marie has now had 18 consecutive days of 40 degrees or above. The overnight lows last night dropping down to 9 degrees at Strathalbyn, but for tomorrow it will be dry again, warm around the southern coast, but basically hot to very hot elsewhere. Light to moderate east and northeasterly winds with a weak sea breeze. Seas tomorrow anywhere between half and up to 1.5 metres high on the west coast with a sea breeze. Now, in terms of the ultraviolet radiation levels, again, they will be extreme, and there will be total fire bans tomorrow in the northeast, northwest pastoral, eastern Eyre Peninsula and west coast and districts. The pollen count tomorrow around 85. Now, temperatures will leap tomorrow. Mount Gambier going up 10 degrees to 34, 39 at Clare. Ceduna tomorrow, 43 degrees elsewhere. We're looking at Newry 38, 41 at Piri, Renmark 40, 42 Roxby Downs, Victor Harbour 31. For local waters, east to northeasterly winds of 10 to 15 knots, the opposing sea breeze of 5 to 10 knots, seas to half a metre high. Adelaide, nice night for sleeping. Tomorrow, very hot, 39 here, and Elizabeth, 35 Mount Barker, Noarlunga 37. Change in on Saturday, holding our temperature around about 33. Quite a pleasant day on Sunday, around 29. Heating up on Monday. The outlook for Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Hot to very hot at first, but there will be a change on the way. Kevin and Rob.
Thanks, Keith. Before we go tonight, let's find out how marathon swimmer Tammy Van Wisser is getting along. And the short answer is, very nicely, thank you. Today she left Renmark to the plaudits of riverbank spectators.
This is day 75 of her epic swim to raise awareness of salinity levels in the Murray. She's still got 25 days to go.
She averages around 30 kilometres a day, would you believe? I couldn't do that on my penny farthing.
Or the scooter.
Or the scooter. That's our bulletin. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we'll see you again tomorrow at 6, but right now here's a current affair.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Tonight on A Current Affair, Telstra under attack over new charges which will give discounts to some customers, but not others. Plus the custody battle over those baby twins sold twice on the internet to different couples. And Peter Brock hits out at road safety traffic authorities over a lack of driver education. Those stories shortly. But first, the pensioners being kicked out of their ground by a local footy team. The Glenelg Croquet Club has existed for almost 100 years. Now its members have been told to get out and make room for the expansion of the neighbouring Aussie Rules Club. But these elderly players aren't giving in easily, even threatening to lie down in front of bulldozers if that's what it takes to save the club.
Well, I think we're all rather distraught. It seems to be a tragedy that something within that's been here since 1906, actually before the football club was even here, is now going to be destroyed, and there's no promise of a future for it.
It's very hard and to keep the club going and be cheerful and say, oh, well, it will be all right.
They're the croquet-playing pensioners who've been told they're about to lose their club.
We're elderly and therefore we're not really wanted, and you can just be brushed off.
In a beachside suburb of Adelaide, the Glenelg Croquet Club will soon be shut down to make way for its neighbouring football club to be extended. The club boasts 30 players, but 70-year-old Vice President Ray Nottage says they're simply being pushed aside for the sports of younger generations.
If you look at equal opportunities, we're just not getting them. That's the point of view. What they're doing is really discriminating against elderly people.
We have to look at the interests of the whole community, not just one group. We're not taking away their ability to play croquet, we're asking them to relocate.
Local Mayor Brian Nadolo is asking the players to merge with this croquet club at Brighton, a couple of kilometres away. He says he has a responsibility to ratepayers to ensure the football club's extensions can be built.
What the council is saying is that there is an alternative facility for these players on a public transport route, and we believe that the ratepayers of the city funding one purpose-built facility is more than reasonable.
So these elderly people have no hope of saving their club?
Well, I don't believe they have.
We hope, we have a bit of hope.
81-year-old Mary Kerr is the president of the Croquet Club. She says the club's still waiting for news about its future.
We haven't heard anything about relocation. They have told us before, oh, you get relocated.
The Croquet Club will be demolished to make way for the football club's planned function centre and car park. Work on the $2 million project is due to begin in April. These dedicated players fear that gives them little time to fight back.
That's right. It could disappear within 3 or 4 months quite easily.
The function centre will be an extension to the existing football club building, and the existing building will be refurbished and brought up to current standards, which it desperately needs. And the Croquet Club is actually required to extend that car park to make the traffic flow more easier and safer, I guess, for residents.
Jeff Zaddo is the Chief Executive Officer of the Glenelg Football Club. It's also been in the area for a long time, some 81 years. He says while he feels sorry for the Croquet Club, progress must be allowed.
It's very understandable. Obviously, they've been there almost 100 years, I think. But it's a small group of people, and unfortunately the popularity of croquet is declining, whereas cricket and football and netball and tennis are continuing to grow.
Well, croquet is a mentally stimulating game. You get a lot of personal reward from it, particularly through developing your skills.
And what's so special, though, about this club?
Well, this club is very good from a social aspect point of view. All the members tend to work well together and cooperate and work towards helping the club survive.
So it's a bit of an institution there, is it?
It is, very much so.
So you'll be pretty sad to see it go.
We'd be very, very sad to see it go. Rather devastating.
We have to weigh the overall benefits to the community of the new facility against the Croquet Club.
While the Croquet Club seems doomed, its committed players say they're not going to give in without a battle. So much so, they say they're prepared to protest with a picket line to stop the bulldozers moving in.
The whole 30 members of the club would be prepared to come out and stand in front of the bulldozers if they move them in to demolish the premises.
You're not going to let them take your club?
Not if we can help it.
Sonia Madigan there, and we'll keep you posted on progress in that dispute. Now Telstra under fire over increases to its phone rental charges. Despite record multi-billion-dollar profits, the telecommunications giant has unveiled a new round of price hikes which give preferential treatment to a select group of customers. But critics claim the average customer will be worse off.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like, we're paying a lot of money now, so yeah, I would. I'd very much consider going Optus.
They're already too high anyway, and if they're going to go up again, it makes it even worse.
Yeah, and we're going to change.
Are you going to change?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Telstra's hopeless.
Telecommunications costs are going down on a world basis, so why are Telstra putting them up?
It's a question no doubt 6.5 million Telstra residential customers will be asking after news today that rental charges will increase by 15% on the 1st of February. Alan Horsley from the Telecommunications User Group says no matter how Telstra dresses the price changes up, consumers inevitably will lose.
They're making a $3.5 billion profit. They're certainly not losing money. So again, the important part of this package should have been that the price rises were offset by reductions in core prices, and there's not evidence to suggest that the core reductions are anywhere near the price rises.
As well as having to pay extra for the use of your line, Telstra's also going to charge you for the privilege of receiving a bill. from August, a paper bill will cost you $3.30 in a ploy to get us paying over the phone or the internet.
For the rest of us who don't have a computer at home, yes, we'll need to stay on the standard rates. And I think what that encourages Telstra to do is to find other ways to bill customers at less cost if the customer does not have access to the internet. And it might be that they bill you over the phone and you pay over the phone.
The winners are basically people who use the phone a lot and people that are techno-savvy, if you like, and hop on the internet.
Charles Britton from the Australian Consumers Association worries that these sorts of changes are developing a telecommunication underclass.
The losers are people that use the phone infrequently, people that can't or won't navigate the complex maze of options that are there to find the safety net, and people that are technologically challenged, if you like, and can't take advantage of the internet.
Just to further cloud the issue and confuse customers, Telstra has also introduced a range of new plans, 6 in all that are promised to provide something for everyone. First, there's the Homeline Complete plan. You'll pay an extra $2.26 for monthly rental, but save 1.5 cents on neighbourhood calls. The budget plan will cost you extra for the line and you'll save on neighbourhood calls, but your monthly rental will drop by $2.20 if you spend below $22.75. The Homeline part caters for those who use Telstra as well as other carriers. The deal doesn't include cheaper neighbourhood calls. For the Homeline Plus package, you pay an extra $1.90 for the line. For that you get lower STD, overseas and mobile calls, as well as reduced rates for local calls. There's also the Homeline Net plan, which offers the cheapest line rental as a reward for paying over the net. And for pensioners, there's a $3.30 rebate for bills under $45. Confused? We are too.
Now, we recognise that in putting more offers in the market, that can bring more complexity. So what's really important to us is that customers give us a call and talk it through. There are savings to be had.
Judy Slatier is the Chief of Consumer Sales at Telstra.
How much does Telstra stand to make from these increases?
What we've tried to say in this answer to this question a few times is it really is going to depend on which option customers go to. As I said before...
But bottom line, how much are you going to make? How much is Telstra going to make? You must have worked it out.
I'm not kidding you here. It really is going to depend on which option customers go for.
With neighbourhood calls, which I make a lot of, I probably don't know exactly which area and which are calls and which aren't calls, the neighbourhood ones.
Riding his horse.
Hello? Oh, hi.
But if you're like Kath Thompson, a fairly typical Telstra user, the options seem baffling and the rise in costs excessive.
Well, we've got 2 lines here, so we'll get hit twice, I guess. So I don't see it. In many respects, we might cut the other line. I don't see the advantages of having the 2 lines at the extra cost.
So what's your advice to consumers? What should they do?
Understand your calling patterns, know how you use the phone. By all means, take Telstra up on their offer to give them a call, let them know what you think about what they're doing, and find out from them what they think is the best call plan for you.
Rachel Friend reporting. Up next, that amazing international battle over twin 6-month-old girls sold not once but twice on the internet.
I didn't know they were with the Allens.
But you met Vicky's
brother.
You met Vicky's brother.
That is a lie, ma'am. That's a lie.
This programme brought to you by Nissan's 2000 clearance. It's going, gone. The all-new Pulsar is Australia's best-selling small sedan because it breaks all the rules. You get air conditioning, CD player, driver's side airbag, keyless entry, and all for the rule-breaking price of just $19,990. Test drive the Pulsar, Australia's best-selling small sedan at your Nissan dealer.
If you're travelling to Adelaide for business or pleasure, the Director's Studio Hotel has what you're looking for. It's a comfortable 3-star hotel within walking distance of some of Adelaide's best restaurants in the Central Market. As a super special to our country visitors, we're offering a rate of $92, which includes a free upgrade to a studio room. Yes, that's right, $92 per night. Each studio has a kitchenette containing a microwave, toaster, tea and coffee facilities. The Directors, the next best thing to country hospitality. Call our toll-free reservation number.
At Sports Power's total store clear out, everything is up to 51% off. this Thursday, Friday and Saturday.
Are you ready for Green Phone? It's here now. Call this number and connect your telephone and internet today. Save up to 15% on your bill with Green Phone.
Here, Newman.
I'm not coming down. It's obvious that's not advantage you've got there. You think you can use just any flea control? Well, not on this cat.
But I thought...
Stops fleas from biting me in minutes? Please. Only Advantage works that fast.
I didn't know.
There's even a new 6-month pack to make life easy. 3 words, sister. Advantage. You can get it from my vet.
Advantage, the fast flea control.
While you're out, can we lose the dog?
The Guinness World Record people were in Brisbane recently to judge an attempt on the world's biggest platefall, using plates washed with 1 bottle of Dawn dishwashing liquid. The challenge was greasy spaghetti bolognese sauce, but with a little Dawn in each tub, the scouts were well prepared. Shelley Flax from Guinness World Records kept an eagle eye on the proceedings. They washed an amazing 15,000 plates with just 1 bottle of Dawn. The result?
You have a record.
Dawn blows a lot of grief.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Michael, as in your husband, Michael?
Look who's in charge.
I guess I'll have to cook Thanksgiving dinner myself.
What could go wrong?
I think it's time to make this thing final.
What thing?
Divorce.
Judging Amy, tonight on Win.
It's a scandal that sparked off public outcry on both sides of the Atlantic. The saga of twin babies who were put up for adoption on the internet and ended up being sold twice by their American mum. While she's taken the money and run, 2 couples are now battling for custody of the children. And lawyers, politicians and social workers in both the United States and Britain are left trying to sort out the moral and legal implications of baby trading on the net. Our report comes from the American ABC's Good Morning America program and its London correspondent Hilary Brown.
The British media is all over the story of the internet twins this morning. Their new British parents, the Killshaws, are anxious to make their case to all comers.
Prior to all this,
we have nothing to hide, otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here now, would we?
The Killshaws say they had no idea that the twins they bought through the internet had already been sold for half the price to a California couple, Richard and Vicky Allen.
I didn't know they were with the Allens.
But you met Vicky's brother.
You met Vicky's brother.
That is a lie, ma'am. That's a lie.
The British tabloids are shocked and appalled by the whole sorry tale. This obscene baby auction is one headline. Here is the mum who sold babes twice is another, showing a picture of the twins' natural mother, Tranda Wecker, a divorcee from Missouri. The twins were marketed and sold to both sets of parents through this search engine on the internet, which connected to a San Diego agency called Caring Heart Adoption. They were taken away from their first adoptive parents, the Allens, by their natural mother, who said she wanted to say a last goodbye. Then they were sold to the Killshaws, who drove them from California to Missouri to Arkansas to get new adoption papers. The Killshaws said they acted with the blessing of the California police.
They said that we did nothing legally wrong, but they didn't want us in California. I think they were worried about our safety.
The case has attracted so much attention here that the British Home Secretary, Jack Straw, spoke out.
I find the idea of children being bought and sold for adoption quite revolting, and it's illegal in this country.
Now, one social worker here says that this whole case demonstrates why private adoption in Great Britain is not legal. But lawyers are expected to give their primary consideration in this case to the interests of the twins themselves and not the strict legality of the adoption. And in this, the age of the British parents, they're middle-aged, and the fact that they have 2 children themselves may be taken into consideration.
The Killshaws, as anyone will have to be assessed by the local social services to determine if they are fit people to have the children. Then it will have to be decided if any laws have been transgressed, either in the United States or here, and then it'll have to be decided who is best to raise these children. It is not over yet.
Is it legal to sell babies in this country?
Well, it's hard to know exactly what you mean by selling babies.
Well, she charged a fee to these couples, and if, in effect, I guess, it is the same as selling, isn't it?
In some of the private adoptions, there will be an arrangement between the adopting family, attorneys, physicians, and the birth parents The fee is supposed to be for expenses such as medical expenses or care of the baby or babies in those first days.
But when you have an internet website, which I gather has now disappeared, I mean, it's this person who runs it out of her living room has sort of disappeared now. But when you have an internet agency offering for a certain amount of money to give you 2 children and make it happen rather quickly, shouldn't you smell a rat?
I would smell a rat, absolutely. I would think that the adoption is not legal in this country, given what's happened. There were so many loopholes that seem to have been jumped through. The internet can be used very successfully to give people information about agencies, information about children needing families, and shouldn't be used to sell children, obviously. And I would hope it's somewhat unusual, but we really don't have a mechanism yet to look at this.
The effect of all this on the babies themselves is hard to tell. As one British tabloid said today, God help them.
That report from the American ABC network. Coming up, Peter Brock's wake-up call on the road toll.
A lot of drivers have no respect whatsoever, regard for their own life, for their own property, for anything around them.
Are they our greatest ever? It's been over 50 years since our last undefeated summer. Now with a World Cup and 15 Test wins, these Aussies are rewriting the records. See history in the making, the Carlton Series, Australia-Zimbabwe.
Happy New Year, Brocky.
Happy New Holden, Deborah. Holden dealers are celebrating 2001 with Rodeo V6 LX 4x2 cab chassis.
From just $16,990.
At your Holden dealer now.
Live Life Designs by Lindy Lou. Live life. Give yourself permission to shine. Live life. Look great. Feel great. Live Life Designs by Lindy Lou. Open 7 days a week. 50 Riddock Street, Penola.
40,000 bathrooms, 25,000 family rooms. A total of 800,000 square metres of tiles must go in Beaumont's biggest ever tile sale. These imported floor tiles are only $14.95 a metre. Every single tile discounted, don't miss it. Beaumont Tiles.
Look for the sign.
Savills Jewelers mad midsummer sale is on now, and the prices are crazy. Like these stylish blue topaz padlock bracelets, 9 carat, just $159. Sterling silver, $49. That's midsummer madness.
Look for the sign.
Savills Jewelers.
Windmail. Free email with no expensive mailbox fees or download charges. And because Windmail is web-based, wherever you go in the world, you can access your account. There's great benefits like Windmail Chat for online conversation in real time. Windmail Organizer, a complete online diary to keep track of your tasks and important dates. And Windmail In Touch for sending instant messages.
Log on to WinNet for free email today.
It's a big world.
Now's the time to fix your cactus car. Save over $3,700 off Pajero and GLX and score $2,000 back on Mazda and the luxury Verada. See, there is big money for your trade-in. Mitsubishi dealers, hot sale, be quick.
Jason's Ultratech, designing computer systems to suit your needs and your budget, keeping up to speed with the latest technology for the home and office, as well as providing the best after-sale service in Naracoorte. Visit their website for online quotes and orders. Jason's Ultratech, Naracoorte.
Almost 2,000 people were killed on Australian roads. Bigger fines, more police patrols and graphic television commercials have made no impact on curbing the toll. Well, motor racing legend Peter Brock reckons that proves it's time road safety authorities abandoned shock tactics and began at them.
Across the country, we're being scared into safe driving, bombarded with brutal and bloody commercials about the consequences of bad driving. But have the ads made us better drivers? Are we now blasé about graphic images like this? Are they no longer working? Motor racing ace Peter Brock says their time is up.
I'd go with education rather than legislation every day of the week.
The 9-time Bathurst winner is now urging a new approach.
New advertising campaigns need to incorporate a more of a we're in this together type attitude instead of a them and an us attitude where it's, you know, Big Brother saying do all these things and this is the terrible consequences. I mean, we know that.
I knew it coming
going over there. That's why I slowed down.
Rocky's spent hundreds of hours with young drivers talking safety. The key, he says, is not to preach, talk their language, talk about real driving experiences and explain things clearly.
You can see with cornering techniques, you've got to brake in a straight line, then get off the brakes, let the car turn in, and then squeeze the power down.
It's really important to note
Brock
that
features in New Zealand road safety commercials. The difference to ours, he says, is that his are positive messages and tips about good driving, rather than negative messages about bad driving.
So now, there's no point in just giving people higher and higher penalties. Goodness, the penalties in New South Wales were increased enormously just for the Christmas period. Didn't really solve the problem, so you've got to look elsewhere. You've got to give people some ideas about how to go about this complex task of driving a car.
As far as I'm concerned, they don't work with me, no.
I get terrified thinking that it might happen to one of my family, friends.
A lot of people are used to them now, and they think, oh yeah, it's just an ad, you know what I mean? But they look good and they look real.
The research that we do on a continual basis shows us that the emotive style of advertising that we are using at the moment is the best means to get our messages through.
Dern Schmidt is from Victoria's Transport Accident Commission, which has been a world leader in graphic road safety advertising.
There is always going to be a section of the community which is not going to listen to any messages.
She defends the old-style ads and begrudgingly admits maybe someone like Peter Brock could get through to those who refuse to listen.
What Peter Brock is saying, we believe, has relevance for the learner driver and probationary driver age groups, those who have not had years and years of practical experience, those that need to build the skill bases.
Brocky says it's time to return to simple driving tips, which begin before you turn the key.
First up, control of the car. Get behind the steering wheel and get yourself comfy. Now,
the first no-no, he says, is sitting too far from the wheel and the pedals.
If I was to drive the car like that, and a lot of people do, I would be doing most of the steering effort with my forearms. Not good for control of the car going through a corner. You need that knee joint to be higher than your hip joint. That way you avoid getting some sort of lower back pain, discomfort, and consequently lack of concentration during a long trip.
Rocky's second tip is obvious, the seatbelt, but he puts a much different spin on it.
Now, I use the seatbelt. When I click it on like that, I just forget about all that drama that goes on in your life. I use that as a signal, a switch that says, Peter, you're now concentrating on driving a car.
Out on the road, his third rule is the 2-second rule, which is about more than just avoiding rear-end collisions.
I can't see past that car too well. That car's now taking up a lot of my vision of what the road's all about. So a good driver is going to be wanting to pick up the information nice and early, raising your vision, lifting your vision up. So if you drop back a little bit, the car's size diminishes somewhat, you can start looking around you.
His fourth tip he calls the what-ifs, being aware of more than just the car in front of you.
Well, there you are. A jumbo pilot coming into land is receiving up to 45 inputs of information every second. That's a lot of work. That means a lot of concentration. A driver driving through a crowded suburban traffic area at only 60k is receiving almost the same amount of information per second.
Rocky admits speed is still a major problem, but simply saying slow down is one thing. He explains the many other benefits of driving at a sensible speed.
I can slow the traffic down around me very nicely. I can control the traffic flow. I've saved on brake wear, I've saved on fuel, I've saved on wear and tear on the car, and what's more, I've saved the concern I might have that the car behind me is going to sort of tailgate me and perhaps cause a nose-to-tail shunt.
Peter Brock says the campaign to bring our road toll down should be about so much more than images of horror and fear.
It should be all about understanding about peer group pressure, anger, frustration, road rage. All of those issues can be looked at in the whole area of driver education, and there's no more important time than what we have right now. It seems like this is the moment to do it.
Glenn Conley reporting there from Melbourne, and you can find more on those driving tips at our website. Peter Brock will also be available to answer questions in our online chat room tonight. So just log on to 9msn.com.au/. ACA. Back in a moment.
It's the first Grand Slam event of the year, and there's only one thing on their minds: winning. When the world's leading players clash, it's anyone's game. The Australian Open.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nissan 2000 clearance. We're here to sell this Nissan ST Patrol wagon. With a powerful 4.2-litre turbo diesel engine, this Patrol is going whatever your location. Now, am I going to hear air conditioning? Yes? 7 seats. 7 seats. Do I hear a CD player? I do. And here's a special offer going for a limited time with bull bar, driving lights and tow bar worth over $2,000. It's going at $52,990. It's going. All quiet. It's going, gone in the Nissan 2000 clearance.
The real world is getting a lot more animated.
Oh my gosh, it's Rocky and Bullwinkle!
We won't let you down.
Kind of makes you feel discouraged. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Need new shoes for back to school? Buy 2 pairs of back to school shoes and get a 3rd pair for half price. That's right, your 3rd pair is half price. Only during back to school at Bets and Bets. Just when you thought summer couldn't get any hotter, the heat wave hits. Now, hit the website to see where the heat wave will hit.
When I started, I was working in an office wearing suits every day. I would never ever have dreamed that I would end up in skating. There's nothing better than looking out the window in the morning and seeing a beautiful day and knowing that you can go outside and enjoy it. If I had another chance at life, I'd come back as a bird. It becomes so much part of your life that it is your life.
Coming up, hilarious stunts and stings. See Nick Giannopoulos, AFL Shane Crawford, and Sales Karina Brown. Surprise, surprise is next.
Time for a preview of one of our stories tomorrow night. It's about the mothers of children with attention deficit disorder. Many are now being diagnosed with the syndrome themselves, but some doctors believe it's all in their heads.
Come here!
It took me about 3 years to get a diagnosis for her, and each time I filled in forms describing her symptoms and what she was like as a child, I was thinking to myself, I could be answering these questions about myself.
I thought, well, I should go for a diagnosis as well. And yes, it came back that yes, I do have attention deficit as well.
A lot of people that just have slightly less than average attentional skills that are getting this diagnosis.
You're supposed to do it on a chopping board. They're either fanatic and they've got the toothbrush out on the bathroom tiles, or they're like me and totally disorganised.
That intriguing story from Jason Cameron tomorrow night, and that's our program. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.
This program brought to you by Nissan's 2000 clearance. It's going, gone.